Won't you come home now, Mother? You've been here 2 days, a night and half a shift.
Nay, just 2 shifts a day and half a night.
Well, come home anyway, Mother. If they rescue... When they rescue Jack, he'll be hungry.
Aye. Aye. 'Tis never Monday.
Aye.
He'll want his tea ready for him. They always have honeycomb tripe at Federated of a Monday. But it's further to walk, but he'd like some Federated tripe. I am pleased. I am pleased.
Why? It's Mr. Hardacre.
Maybe he's got some news.
Is there any news, Mr. Hardacre?
Oh, lad, the middle order's totally collapsed.
Oh.
They're no among our tail now. Apparently there's a dusty patch outside the off stump. I don't know why they play test matches at the Oval at all.
No, I mean about the men trapped down the mine.
Eh? Oh, aye. Well, we're doing all we can, but there's 4 men still trapped, as you know.
Aye, and one of them my son, Jack.
You still here, Agnes? Go home. Believe me, I'm doing everything in my power.
Aye, arranging to put up the price of coal, I'll be bound.
By heck, Agnes, you've a marvellous business head on them shoulders. You know you've missed your way in life?
I know you, Bradley Hardacre. If it costs 1 penny to get those men out, you'll not spend it.
That's not true, and you know it. If I sent the White Mouse down in the lift once, I've sent it down 100 times. And if you must know, there is some news. Last time we sent it down, it didn't come back up.
Oh.
You mean gas?
Well, it could be. But on the other hand, we haven't seen the cat for the last 2 hours. There's no telling.
You inhuman brute, Bradley Hardacre! You unfeeling monster! You don't know what suffering is!
Now, that's just where you're wrong. Ever since that shaft caved in, I've gone through torments. Torments. My so-called workers down there, millions of tons of coal around them just begging to be dug out, and I'll wager none of them's lifted a shovel since first faint rumble. Not them. No, not them. I feel it here, you know. Those idle beggars are just sat down there feeling sorry for themselves, waiting to be rescued.
You sure you're not playing, Arthur? Because we can dig you out if you fancy a game.
No, I'm unlucky at cards. I'm lucky at everything else, mind. Just cards.
Isn't it time for us tea, Jack?
Aye, Nate. It's only been an hour since we had us dinner. We'd to make us rations last.
An hour? Dear, more like. Must be Thursday by now.
I reckon it's Tuesday.
We've no way of knowing, have we?
We'll have to find some way to measure time.
Could we make some kind of sundial?
A sundial? Down here? Yeah. You'd need cement and all sorts to make a sundial.
Aye.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, there's a drip. It keeps dropping on my head about once every 5 seconds, regular as clockwork.
You mean we can count drips? And that way we can gauge passing of time?
No, I mean, move me head a bit, will you? It's driving me balmy.
Don't you see, Arthur? 12 drips make a minute. Arthur, you're as good as a grandfather clock.
Oh, you expect me to spend all my time counting, do you? You take me for the mug or what?
Yeah, we'll all do his turn. We'll take shifts.
Well, one thing's got to be understood right from the off. I am not doing night shift, because I've got an invalid wife.
Oh! I don't know how you did it, but I know you hate Jack because he's the man I want to marry. You're behind this disaster. You!
You're talking like a mad woman.
I hate you! I hate you!
Be reasonable. Would I damage that mine, me own property? Apart from everything else, there's thousands of tons of quality anthracite trapped down there with your young man. Mind you, anthracite is not perishable, which is more than I can serve for me laddo.
Feed!
You'll never marry him, my girl. You marry what I say, or you'll spend your life in an institution.
I tell you, Doctor, he intends to have Isabel certified.
Certified on what grounds?
On the grounds that she wants to marry a minor, this Jack Fairchild.
Oh, aye, well, the lusting of the flesh can turn the head. I must tell you frankly, Lady Patience, that behind most forms of madness lies a disorder in the sexual... well, possibly there's nothing orgasmically wrong, or organically wrong. Fundamentally wrong, you understand? Oh, you're just not getting the right kind of sleep.
It could be hereditary, Doctor. I'm not getting it either.
Oh, you think you've got problems? The thing is, I have an infallible method of testing the balance of the mind in this regard by means of word association.
Word association, Doctor?
I say a word, and you, assuming you are the patient, say the first word that comes into your head. For instance, strap.
Carrot.
Buckle.
Cucumber.
Thong.
Marrow.
Handcuff.
Lighthouse.
Manacle.
Eiffel Tower.
Horsewhip.
Empire.
State.
Building.
Train.
Tunnel.
Piston.
Valve.
Train.
Tunnel.
Piston.
Valve.
Train.
Tunnel.
Piston.
Valve.
Communication.
Cord.
Penalty.
£5.
And worth every penny.
Will this help my daughter?
I do believe it will, Lady Patience.
It certainly seems to have helped me. I feel better than I have for months.
You're not coming to Cambridge with me? What do you mean?
Well, like I said, Mr. Morris, my brother's tracked down your father's mine.
Yes, and?
And me dad, he got blown up in your father's factory and he's in hospital.
Well?
Well, don't you see how it is, Mr. Morris?
Oh, yes. Yes, I see. I see that one or two members of your family have as little regard for my father's property as you have for my feelings. I've made arrangements, you know.
But you see, I've to be the man of the family now, Mr. Morris.
The man of the family. What, did you hear that, Hesketh? You're just a silly boy. A pretty boy, admittedly, but then Hesketh has said all along that your looks are not the kind that last.
And there's my mother, you see.
Have my rooms entirely draped in crepe de chine. Well, I've laid in stocks of vellum in the most amusing shade of lavender just for you to write on. I've even bought you your own egg cup for our breakfast table. I was going to give it to you tonight, but... some other little boy will have it now.
You don't understand, Mr. Morris. How could you understand? But like me Uncle Lawrence says, our rough working class ethic demands that I must shoulder that thod as my father and brother have lain down. I mun put away my little pencil in top drawer at dresser where my mam keeps family treasures and the postage stamp we keep by us for emergencies. Oh, I may take it down sometimes on Sundays or high holidays. Aye, and happen I'll sharpen it. Just sharpen it maybe and think of you and Cambridge and what might have been. Any road, I've summed it up, and I think I might say rather beautifully in my last poem as a poet.
I don't want your poem. Your poems are rotten.
Oh, you don't mean that, Mr. Morris. You're just upset. Any road, now for me poem. They are not long, the days of dandelion and burdock. Out of a misty dream we see the muses form and clutch at a frock. And then, alas for art, run out of steam.
Rotten. 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 Rotten! Hesketh wants to puke!
Oh, he doesn't really mean it. It's just that in his pain and disappointment, he's lashing out wildly at those he loves. If I were you, I should keep out of his road tonight.
It's all in hand, Father. I've set the men to driving the shaft as you ordered. Pedro. I must point out, Father, that this new shaft you're driving to rescue these trapped miners will pass dangerously close to the cottage hospital where you spent those unhappy childhood years. In fact, it'll pass almost directly underneath it.
Eh? No, you've misread the chart. It'll pass absolutely directly underneath it.
But won't that dangerously undermine the foundations?
It needn't, son, not if we proceed with extreme caution and every modern safeguard. Unhappily, on this occasion, we must throw caution to the winds as human life is at stake.
Why, Father, I believe you've been planning this all along. You want that hospital to come crashing down.
I don't begrudge a penny of the money I spent on your education, son, when I see the spark is there.
Thank you, Father. But won't that interfering Scottish pill pusher kick up a fuss?
If I know Macduffy will be on his way here now to shake me by the hand and endorse these rescue plans.
I heard the news as I came through the town, Hardacre, and I think I am man enough to tender you my sincere apologies.
Apologies, Doctor?
I have misjudged you grievously. This is a noble thing you're doing, and at your own expense. Forgive me, Hardacre, for ever thinking you were a man to put wealth before welfare or pelf before people.
I perhaps have been at fault in so often doing good by stealth and failing to blow my own trumpet. If you only knew, Doctor, how often I unobtrusively comfort a widow here or solace an orphan schoolgirl there.
Oh, I help you with the schoolgirls, don't
Quiet,
I,
Austin, while I'm talking to the doctor.
Yes, all the time I thought you were trying to undermine my position in the town. I thought you were trying to cut the ground from under my feet.
Thank you. Thank you, Bradley Hardacre. I never thought I'd live to see this day. But bless you for trying to save my boy. How can I ever repay you?
Well, we'll think of something.
I suppose your mother never sent no messages for me or rice pudding or nothing?
Well, she's got a lot to contend with, Father, with Jack and everything.
Jack. She's never thought of me. It's been nothing but our Jack ever since he was born. I mean, well, he's down that mine, yes, but he might be perfectly all right, whereas I'm lying here in hospital and we know I've got a bad foot.
Oh, about the foot, Father. Will you be getting compensation?
I'll be getting best compensation going. Compensation of knowing that come next war, British Tommy will go into battle with the Hardacre anti-tank boat, what I helped to perfect. Aye. You don't begrudge a 2 or 2 when you've had an hand in a British triumph like that. You mark my words, lad. At next lot, when Tommy puts boot in, Johnny Frenchman's going to know where it hurts.
Oh, you think it'll be the French next time, dear Father?
Oh, aye, certainly. The Frenchman's your proper foe, lad. Last lot were a mistake, trick of the light. I know for a fact that Kaiser Wilming wrote a very nice letter to Mr. Hardacre explaining how it all came about by mistake. You see, where we went wrong was we turned left instead of right when we got across channel. Can't as they drive up to the side of the road. And I was reaching all that. You know, I do enjoy these little talks of ours, son. That's what I'm missing here, is a good conversation, because most of this lot is half daft, you know.
I brought you a dumpling, Mr. Fairchild.
How do, Miss Hardacre?
Don't say pretty things to me, Matthew. They make me feel all funny inside. And now you're going away.
But I'm not going away. Not now.
You're not?
I'm talking about, I think I know where design went wrong. And the solution is a clog iron. That surprises you, doesn't it? Like this here.
I cannot hide it any longer. I love you. Oh, I should not have spoken.
How wretched I'd have been if you hadn't spoken to me, Matthew. Don't you know? I love you.
Oh, Miss Charlotte.
It had one modified, of course, but notice they couldn't handle it foundry.
Yes. Great news, old chum. Ask me, don't you want to know? We've almost reached your brother and his sooty pals. They'll have them out in no time, and we can go to Cambridge together. Matt. Charlotte, put him down.
Sorry, Mr. Morris. Something's cropped up.
Ungrateful wretch. After all I would have done for him.
You see, it's definitely a clog iron.
What?
Oh, Mr. Morris, I said, what you want is a clog iron, only more bent.
Shut up, you foul little man. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Do you know, you have a definite look of your father about you when you do that.
And what is so entrancing about the view, my dear?
If you must know, I'm looking at the hovel I live in, down there among those mean streets and huddled roofs.
There's a lot of unfairness in this life. I mean, here's me, I've got on, and yet I have to look out of my window at a lot of hovels, whereas you lot in your hovels have the undeserved pleasure of looking at my nice house. It often rankles, does that?
If that's Lady Patience, she should not find me here.
Don't fret, lass. It's only our Isabel having a tantrum. I locked her in her room.
Strange. Your daughter imprisoned up here in her fine chamber. My son entombed down there in his grimy prison.
Best place for him.
How can you say that, Bradley Hardacre?
Don't take this personal, Agnes. But when a valuable thoroughbred mare comes on it, you take pains she doesn't get in a field with a lot of gypsy ponies, mules and donkeys.
Do you think I've not told him to stay away from her? How can you not believe this? That marriage between them two is the last thing I could stomach.
Ah, well, this is how it is, Agnes. I mean, you and me, we see eye to eye. But this generation coming up, they've no respect for the class system, the mechanism on which human happiness depends. Any road-up's all over now between them. She'll forget about him, like you do any bereavement.
Bereavement? She'll not be bereaved. He's coming up. You said you told me he's coming up.
Calm yourself, lass. Happen I spoke hasty. But if we do get him back up, can we persuade him to forget about my daughter and take an interest in sheep?
You mean...
Aye, pack him off to Australia.
You'll not get him to Australia. I tell you this about Jack. Once he gets bit between his teeth, there's no stopping him.
But he's bit off more than he can chew this time.
Aye, happen. But he's never known how to swallow his pride.
And happen his pride will swallow him. I say again, Agnes, the only place for that lad is... down under.
Quiet. Quiet. Hey! They're through to us, they're through.
Lads, can you hear me?
Aye, we hear you. There's 4 of us.
We're a rod and a half from you, lads.
We're saved.
Hey!
A rod and a half.
Unfortunately, we've only half a rod with us, so you'll have to work it from your side.
Come on, lads. Hang about, lads. Don't be mugs all your lives.
What do you mean, Arthur?
Well, before I go waltzing out of here, I want certain guarantees, such as, and to wit, namely, time and half for supernumerary shifts worked after the first normal shift or part shift work.
He's got a point.
That's
right.
I've hardly started. There's unsocial hours. And I tell you, there's a whole new ball game when it comes to settling the rate for trapping time.
Trapping time? Aye, Arthur's right.
It's what we've always wanted. We've got Bradley Hardacre over the barrel.
Now, my dear, I must warn you that in the course of this diagnostic session, you may use words or expressions proceeding from your subconscious mind, which may shock the non-medical person, such as your mother. It might be better, Lady Patience, if you were to leave us alone, possibly locking the door behind you as a contraception. A precaution.
No, I'll stay. It is a mother's duty.
I'm having nothing to do with this. It's just silly.
Isabel, my dear, you must submit to Dr. Macduff's attentions. It's the only way to prevent your father committing you to an institution.
Oh! Well, then get on with it.
And now, I have just explained
Yes,
that
yes, just give me a word.
Apple?
Pillar box.
Grapefruit?
Lighthouse.
Gourd?
Blackpool Tower.
Melon?
Eiffel Tower.
Beach ball?
Empire State Building.
Zeppelin?
Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Oh, train, tunnel, piston valve. No ticket. Shame. Disgrace. Struck off.
Well, Doctor, what is your verdict?
Your daughter, Lady Patience, is as normal and healthy as you and I.
I bet Bradley Hardacre's sweaty now.
There's nothing you can do to get us out of here till we're good and ready. What's that?
Can you give me a hand?
Eh?
Can somebody take these?
Inspirational songs and ballads. 101 pure gems for piano and voice.
Now! Where's your piano? I suppose you lost all your furniture in the rockfall. Still, we can make do.
'Tis Hardacre's last, young Miss Charlotte.
They said they were nearly through to you, but then activity on your side suddenly ceased, and I was the only one slim enough to wriggle through. And as you see, I had to take my blouse off to do it. So, by the way, I hope nobody needs any bandages.
Oh, me leg.
Hold her up, Arthur. There's nothing wrong with him, Miss Charlotte.
No, it's just his spirits are low. What you brave boys need is something to give you a lift for that one last effort. And I know the very thing. The coal miner's classic. Keep the home fires burning. So don't be shy. Deep breath. 1, 2, 3. Keep the home fires burning, though your hearts are yearning.
3,480 yards of tunnel at £3.19 and 8 farthing a yard. That's 3 4.
Father!
Shut up, Austin. I'm trying to work out the cost of this operation. It's a bloody fortune.
But the good news is, Father, there's 700 yards you don't need to dig.
I know we don't need to, but we have to make it look like a rescue tunnel.
Ah, well, that's the bad news, Father.
Mines.
We don't need a rescue tunnel. They're rescued. Charlotte has crawled along the old shaft.
Have we got underneath that damned hospital yet?
Still 50 yards short, Father.
That half-witted girl, that daughter of mine. I know exactly where we went wrong. I was buying her that little nurse's outfit for her 5th birthday. Her mother's idea, I may say, not mine.
She's bringing the men up even as we speak, Father.
Well, don't just stand there. Get down there and make sure Jack Fairchild doesn't come up with the others.
You mean?
That's exactly what I mean.
Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I want to go to bed.
That's it. Time I got home to wife.
Hey, what about trapping time?
Nothing's to life than trapping time. Home comforts, for instance.
Oh, I know what you mean. Well, it's years since I took any interest in that. Years. Bloody years. By heck. Now I know what they mean by a rousing chorus. I'll have to get home.
That's it, boys. You'll soon be home with your wives and sweethearts, and they'll be tucking you up in your own little beds with a cup of cocoa.
Oh.
That's it. After you, Miss Charlotte.
The roof's going! Stop it! Right, you go get pit props. Yeah, all right. Go on, lads. Go on, lads. I'll be all right.
Why is it? I do believe it is Jack Fairchild.
Oh, Mr. Austin. Fancy seeing you here.
I may say, Jack, I think you've done a hero's job. It would give me the greatest pleasure to shake you by the hand.
That's very kind of you, Mr. Austin. And seeing as how we're going to be brothers-in-law. Oh, ah!